of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, for his high-profile internet fraud activities. He recklessly flaunted his ill-gotten wealth on social media and ended up providing damaging information with which he was nailed by the authorities in the U.S. Trailed by the FBI with dossier of his financial scams and enough evidence to get a long-term jail conviction, Hushpuppi was arrested in Dubai on June 10, 2020. And according to Dubai police, Hushpuppi was arrested for multiple fraud charges along with about a dozen of his accomplices. The 38-year-old king of fraud had over 2 million Instagram followers where he displayed unbridled ostentation. After spending months in jail, reality dawned on him and he quickly struck a deal with the prosecutor. Part of the deal requires him to give details of the scams, reveal his co-conspirators and their roles in the scam. He pleaded guilty to fraud of about $24 million and has a 20-year sentence awaiting formal confirmation by the district court in California. Hushpuppi's travails led to another canker-worm being opened and robbing Nigeria's Super Cup and Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari, who is listed amongst the people Hushpuppi wired money to. Hushpuppi had sworn to an affidavit before a California district court in the U.S. that he paid bribes to Nigeria's police chief Abba Kyari to have one of his rivals, Kelly Chibuzo, arrested and jailed in Nigeria following a dispute over $1.1 million fraud obtained from a Qatari businessman by pretense. With a fraud deal gone sour, Vincent informed the Qatari businessman that he was being scammed by him and Abbas. And infuriated by Vincent's revelation, Hushpuppi allegedly wired money to Abba Kyari to facilitate the arrest and incarceration of Vincent. The evidence against Deputy Commissioner of Police in a court document obtained by a Rise News channel from the United States District Court for the Central District of California reads between the United States and Ramon Olorunwa Abbas, Abdurrahman Imran Juma, Vincent Kelly Chibuzo, Abba Alhaji Kyari, Rukayat Motunrayo Fashola, Bolatito Tawakalitu Agbabiaka, all defendants. The criminal complaints by telephone or other reliable electronic means are incontrovertible pieces of evidence as can be found on the documents. The WhatsApp conversations showed how Nigeria's Super Cup arrested Chibuzo illegally on the instructions and inducement of Abba Kyari and his team by Hushpuppi. The court papers also show that this was not the only time that Abbas arranged payments for Kyari. For example, on May 20th, 2020, Abbas sent Kyari transaction receipts for 2 transactions from accounts at Nigerian banks, GT Bank and Zenith Bank. The amount on the transaction receipts total 8 million naira, which was approximately $20,600. It is all these pieces of evidence that have smeared Nigeria's Super Cup image, Abba Kyari, and paint a grim picture of how some law enforcement agents abuse public trust and confidence. Abba Kyari is believed to live a lavish lifestyle with his immediate family, hobnobbing with questionable characters. Only recently, he was in Oba with Obi Kubana, another spendthrift who displays wanton wealth at social occasions. Will Abba Kyari become a fall guy? Will Nigeria have the political will to accede to the orders of the United States courts? Only time will tell. Christian Ogodo, Arise News.
Coming to terms with news that Abba Kyari, a man widely regarded as the nation's Super Cop, has been indicted by America's FBI for whining and dining with international fraudsters. Senior Advocate of Nigeria and human rights advocate Femi Falana joins us now to discuss yesterday's astounding revelations and other legal matters that may be affecting the state of the nation. Good to have you, sir. And I trust you can hear me.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Great. I'll go right ahead. I did read something by you on this matter, but I just want to ask, is it a case of one rule for the goose and another for the gander, seeing as we seem to seek extradition orders when it concerns getting people we regard as enemies of the state. Recently even leaning on Benin Republic. But when it comes to our own people being found guilty abroad, we don't seem to be forward in cooperating with extradition order in the case of Abba Kyari.
Well, it's not a case of our people being found guilty. Our people are indicted,
yes,
by the investigators in foreign countries. But I wish to say that there is a treaty between Nigeria and the United States of America that covers the allegations made against DCP Abba Kyari. Unless he volunteers to go to the United States on his own, since he's claiming to be innocent of all the allegations. If he does not submit to jurisdiction, the United States government will be required to submit an extradition request to the government of Nigeria. Upon the receipt of the request, the Office of the Attorney General will be required to file extradition proceedings in the Federal High Court. Abba Kyari cannot just be arrested on the basis of the indictment or the warrant of arrest issued by the United States of America. He has to be taken to a local court where the court will look at the allegations, will give him fair hearing, and then decide whether he should be extradited or not. And this is what we have tried to make the government of Nigeria to appreciate, that under international law, there is no room for gangsterism. You cannot abduct your own citizen, just like nobody can come to Nigeria to abduct any Nigerian, you know. So if there is an allegation that a Nigerian has committed an offense, and there is a treaty between Nigeria and the country, just like the United States of America, just like Kenya, you have to go through due process before you can extradite a Nigerian, or before you can extradite a foreigner who is alleged to have committed an offense in your territory.
All right, Mr. Falana, critics of this particular government who have said that the government of the day have undergone selective anti-corruption crusades over the years. We are watching right now. What should the government of the day do to ensure that they seem to be on the side of anti-corruption?
Well, I don't want to go into the debate on corruption because the government of Nigeria cannot seriously fight corruption for ideological reasons. The economy programs that the government implement support corruption, fuel corruption. If you implement neoliberal policies, including retrenchment of workers, or you call downsizing, withdrawal of subsidies from education, health, and so on and so forth, devalue your currency, of course, you are going to have millions of people in the unemployment market, and that is the case of Nigeria. You are going to have a lot of people who are battling with poverty. And so it is difficult in such an environment not to have corruption. So you have a situation where the policies of the government support corruption. But I'm not unaware of the fact that you have the EFCC, you have the ICPC, and even the police, a code of conduct bureau that are set up to fight corruption, but they are frustrated. And because of the fact that the authorities hardly call people to order, that is why foreign countries now help Nigeria to fight those who are too powerful here to be brought to book under our system. And here, I'm going to appeal to the Inspector General of Police not to limit the investigation of Mr. Abba Kyari to the indictment by a district court in America, there are serious allegations of extortion of money, huge sums of money, of extrajudicial killings of suspects, of the sale of the assets of suspects, of the conversion of the assets of suspects that have been allegedly traced to this officer. And when this officer was summoned recently by the Judicial Commission of Inquiry investigating police brutality in Nigeria, he refused to go. And the police authorities connived, in such official impunity. For that reason, the government, the police authority will need to subject DCP Abba Kyari to full investigation. And for me, if the government of Nigeria is genuinely committed to the eradication of economic and financial crimes, these offenses were committed in Nigeria. So the federal government can simply investigate this officer very, very speedily and have him charged before our court.
Okay.
Instead of forcing, the prosecution of criminal offenders in Nigeria to foreign countries.
Yes, in fact, I'm following the same line of your reasoning. Just because we see that a lot of times we seem to fall short in prosecuting offenders, and we leave it, like you said, to other countries to bring them to book. I'm speaking of James Ibori, Invictus Obi. Well, I guess he offended abroad, and now we have Hushpuppi as well. Is that the fault of the judicial system, and what can be done to tighten that loophole? Briefly.
No, once you have a system whereby police officers and anti-graft officers
Femi Falana there, and he was basically taking the stand that the position to redeem our reputation at home and abroad, this case concerning Abba Kyari needs to be both transparent and seen to follow due process. Would have loved to hear more from him, but we got a lot from the time we did have with him. Thank you very much for that. It's time now.